All right, let's continue on for our study on the cults. And we're going through the book Doctrine Twisting, as you well know, the book that I did with one of my students, Gordon Carl. Gordon, I think I told you last time, he's right now moving toward candidacy for his PhD at Claremont Graduate School. And Gordon's a sharp guy, and this was his first book to do, and it was exciting for me to do it with him. The book that we have here, Doctrine Twisting, is a little differently than some books, because the book here I did, my book on charts of cult, sects, and religious movements that I did, this is an analytical approach. This looked at the various groups and analyzed their peculiar doctrines individually as groups. Here I didn't. Here I dealt with individual cults. Here I deal with individual doctrines. It's a little different approach to it. I think it helps to understand this better if you can do it both ways. Last time we were talking about the idea of the doctrine of God, and we ended, I believe, on page 48, and we're talking about the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, oftentimes called the Mormons. And the point of it is, even if Mormons will not readily tell you, they really do believe in multiple deities. Matter of fact, even to the point of some would accept there are millions and millions of deities, and which is quite beyond anything even the ancient Greco-Roman paganism ever taught. Even if you were to take probably the animistic view, you wouldn't have any more deities than you do in Mormonism. I commented here, Orson Pratt, I think you remember, if we should take 1 million worlds like this and number their particles, think about that. 1 million worlds and number their particles. We should find there are more gods than there are particles of matter in these worlds. Well, that even animists wouldn't believe in that many deities. I mean, who believe that there are gods in the streams and the trees and so forth. This is trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions of deities. And so that the view of early Mormonism. Well, let's move on to another group called the United Pentecostal Church. And the United Pentecostal Church is a revival of ancient modalism. Now, I don't know to what degree you understand ancient modalism, but in the 2nd century particularly, there was a way of thinking that Jesus was in fact God, but all of God, so that there is no Father and Spirit as independent, and I shouldn't use the word independent probably, I should use the word distinct persons within the deity. There's only one God. Father and Holy Spirit are in fact that one God. So that persons within the Trinity do not have independent power, independent knowledge, independent wisdom, independent existence from each other. In other words, all three members of the Trinity share all of the deity. And that's important to understand, because if the Father shared part of the wisdom, and the Son shared part of the wisdom, and the Holy Spirit shared part of the wisdom, then at that point you really do have three deities. But if you have each of the persons share all of the wisdom and all of the knowledge and all of the power and so forth, then you only have one God, one deity. And you've got to think about this right, or you are a tritheist. And a lot of people haven't, unfortunately, taken time to think through these things carefully, and they haven't developed an orthodox view of God. Even when I taught some of you guys, I think you probably took the doctrine of God with me. I talked about the doctrine of the Trinity. Remember, one God, three persons, not dividing the substance and not confusing the persons. So there's only one substance of God. All three persons share equally all of the substance. They do not share part of the substance each. That way you can say there's one God. That becomes an issue also in reference to the incarnation. You cannot have the Son not sharing all of the essence of the deity. Even in his humanity, the humanity doesn't share the essence of the deity, but the person who is human shares all the essence of the deity. So Jesus, the person, shares all of the essence of humanity and shares all of the essence of divinity. The person does. So the natures are different than the question of the person. And if you don't have that, then you have a tritheism. And you're not maybe as bad as some Mormons who would hold millions. But you clearly would be correctly faulted by someone who's a modalist, who say, well, you can't have multiple deities. They would say there's only one God. The only difference is they believe that Jesus is all the God there is. So they're actually unipersonal monotheists instead of tripersonal monotheists.
So they don't like to say in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. They like to lock it up in Jesus.
Well, they will say in the name of the Father, Holy Spirit, and they'll say, what is the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit? The name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit is Jesus.
Yeah.
They try to make it so that they say, well, listen, it says the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Well, what is the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit?